Good afternoon. This is Van Tran. I'm very happy to be here in studio on VBS with two of our special guests to the community, to the Vietnamese American community here. And we're happy to have them. And I would like to introduce, first of all, ladies first. On my left is Miss Jo Rykoff. Jo Rykoff, of course, is a familiar face with some of you. She's been collaborating and working with the management of VBS for the past several years, but she's very active and very prominent in Republican Party politics, being a vice president of the California Republican Assembly, which is also known as the conscience, right, of the Republican Party. Sometimes there are some issues that I'd like to ask you about our party as well, and many other civic organizations here in Orange County as well. She has a very special relationship with the Vietnamese American community through the decades, and I'll let her share some of those stories with all of you. And to her left and to my far left is, of course, Mr. Ryan Bent. Mr. Ryan Bent is a local elected official. He is currently a trustee with the North Orange County Community College, which covers a number of community colleges, but most notably Cypress College and Fullerton College. Some of your kids, or maybe you are probably students there if you live in North Orange County in that area. And the both of them are running for office for this March 5th election, primary election, as committee members or members of the Orange County Central Committee. This is a very important position that not a lot of people know about or understand, but basically Central Committee members who are also elected by Republican voters make policy and also vote to endorse our candidates who are running for different offices throughout the county here in Orange County. So please welcome our friends and our guests this afternoon to the studio, and I'd like to extend my greetings to Jo as well as to Ryan as well. Jo, will you give brief welcoming remarks to our viewing audience, please?
Yes, it's my pleasure to be here, and I have a special relationship with the Vietnamese community. Not only am I the Vice President of Programming and Development here at VBS Television, but also in 1991, when I was working at NBC Productions, I worked on a movie called Last Flight Out, which was about the last commercial flight out of Vietnam. And at that time, NBC, they were hiring members of the Chinese community, members of the Japanese community to work on a Vietnamese movie. And so I decided, as the assistant to the producer of this movie, that I would go into the Vietnamese community and I would ask, who are your famous actors within the Vietnamese community? And I was told Kieu Chin, who I didn't know at the time, was one of the most famous actresses who had worked for decades in filmmaking. And so I found her number and I called her and I introduced myself and I let her know who I was. And my producer at the time was so excited that I always say I found Kieu Chin. I did not find Kieu Chin, but for the purposes of our movie, I did bring her into our film, Last Flight Out. And he was especially happy because it turned out that Kieu Chin was on that last flight out of Vietnam. So we had a great time on the film, and we went to Washington, D.C. together. And so anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, that there's a special place in my heart for the Vietnamese community, and I thank you very much for the opportunity to address you and speak with you.
Well,
thank you so much.
It just proves that, Jo, it just proves that, don't you think that the world is round and small, that you've been involved with the Vietnamese community over the past several decades. And yet we all work as fellow Americans here, fellow residents of Orange County, wanting to have the best for our kids, our family, and also for our community as well. And I know that you're running as a slate of 5, but we have 2 of you here this afternoon, and your colleague, who's also have a very different and interesting background as well, and that's Ryan Bent, who's also running for a seat on the Central Committee of Orange County as well. So will you please give our viewing audience welcoming remarks and greetings.
Well, thank you very much, Van. Yeah, my name is Ryan Bent. I am a trustee for the North Orange County Community College District, and that encompasses Cypress College, Fullerton College, and NOCE. And I am only representing my own views today, but I'm also a servant of my city, and I've been involved in a lot of our city commission work and on our local K-12 school subcommittees as well. So I'm very happy to be here. I'm running for Central Committee because there's a lot of changes that we need to make, and I know we'll get into that in a little bit.
Now, Joe, with all the work and positions that you hold currently, you're taking on another position, and it's a worthwhile and important task. Now, what motivates you, or what brings you to be a candidate for the Central Committee of Orange County? Why do you want to run?
Well, that is so much to say there. Yeah. So much to say. Well, I guess I do want to start with the fact that prior to President Trump running for office, I had absolutely no interest in politics. But what happened to my family was my husband had family in the Twin Towers when the planes hit. And so when President Trump decided to run for office, I would listen to President Trump speak, and then I would turn on CNN. And at that time, the reporters would either not tell the truth about what President Trump was saying, or they would lie. And at that moment, I said, Lord, I want to work for President Trump. And one by one, the doors started opening. And in 2016, I was his media director for LA and Orange County. In 2020, I was a bundler for Trump, which means that I raised money for Trump, and my team, we were able to raise approximately $325,000 for Trump. And now I'm currently a bundler for Trump. And so why do I want to run for Central Committee? Because, well, in all honesty, I feel in California, the Democrats are basically in control of our state. And the decisions that the Democrats have made, in my opinion, are very, very harmful decisions towards our children, towards parents. And so therefore, I feel that our slate is here to save California. And by saving California, we have the ability to save our country as well by implementing the same ideas. So I want to work against the woke ideology. So I am not in agreement with our kids being groomed and being exposed to the type of things they're exposed to in our school system. And I want to change that. I think that's really important. And I'm also against parental rights being taken away. So I want to fight against that as well.
Well, thank you so much for your response. You've touched on a number of important issues that really is bedeviling the state of California: parental rights, wokeism, and all the social and cultural issues and conflicts that really divide our state. Getting over to Ryan, what motivates you to run for Central Committee of Orange County?
Well, everything that Joe just said is absolutely true, and what we need to do at the local level is just to make a difference in our own communities and on our own local K-12 school boards and community college boards and city councils, because these kind of things can be combated in the local neighborhood by neighborhood. And so that's what we need to do. Every single American and every person that lives in Orange County needs to be involved. One of the things about preserving our republic, when you say a republic if you can keep it, a lot of people think about being in a republic that you're just going to vote every 2 years or every 4 years, and it's all about voting. The Democrats just want to think it's all about voting, but that's not true. Those of us that are highly involved know that you need to be involved in saving your republic 365 days a year. You need to be involved in your your local, PTA board on your schools. You need to be involved in your schools. You need to be involved in your city activities and everything else. And getting people on the central committee who understand what needs to happen on the ground in cities, in school boards, and can get elected officials to help lead those organizations to avoid them going woke is exactly what we need to do, and why our team is running.
Now, we use the term woke, and some folks have different definitions or understanding of it. So can you share with us, the viewing audience, what does that mean, woke? Yeah. And what's objectionable about it, from a parental standpoint or from a familial family perspective?
Yeah, my view of it is a radical social justice bent that's to the point where it actually is racist in its own term. It's radical in the social justice bent to where it would actually consider LGBT rights of children to be more powerful than that of their parents. It makes the government believe that they can help your student or their student that they own, not your kid, transition their gender to mutilate themselves and all kinds of bad things. And it starts small, but it's all about government control and taking control away from parents. We need to take it back. We need to put the power in the hands of the people, and we need to protect our children at least until they're age 18, and that's what our job is. Those who are woke are for doing those kind of things to children.
And sadly, it's been ongoing for years, if not decades, just incrementally until, recently now enough is enough. There's a lot of opposition and, of course, backlash against that. We are out of time for the first segment here. Boy, it went by so quickly when we're having a good time. Well, thank you so much for watching the show. We're going to come right back for the second segment right after some commercials. Thank you so much.